This is what for thousands of years they've been teaching people. From very young to very old, teaching us the greatness of Allah. If we are not understanding, they're not teaching you the greatness of Allah, then what's the use of you going up 5 times a day saying Allahu Akbar? You're not saying Allahu Akbar because you don't know what is Allah and what is Akbar. You don't understand the greatness. That time you can stand up there and you're going to say Allahu Akbar, I am the greatest. Because if this is what they're teaching, you are the greatest, you are the best, have fun, fulfill your pleasures, your desires, you are the... Then you start worshipping yourself. You see, nothing in creation is claiming to be a Lord. Not even a shaitan is claiming to be a Lord. Only mankind is claiming to become Lord. The ego that Allah has created, that is put in us, claiming itself to become Lord. It hasn't changed. If mankind has been here for 7,000 years, that hasn't changed. And the minute that we understand that that ego, that we must fight against it, that's the time you start worshipping to your Lord. To fight against the ego, that becomes worship. That becomes the highest worship. Then that time, we will not be amongst those that Hazrat Ibn Arabi is saying, the Lord that you just worship, it is under my feet. Hazrat Ibn Arabi promising everyone money, gold. He says, go to the masjid. Listen carefully and just give everyone a piece of gold. They say, really? He says, yes. Because he's looking, people are going in and out. The masjids that time, they're filled. They're huge. They fill thousands of people. Don't think the masjids like today. Don't think the people like today too. Those people, they didn't know Facebook. They don't know internet. They don't know the dirtiness that we know, that we take it for normal. That if you're not dirty, they say you are not normal. Those people, they did not know dirtiness. They're living under Khilafat. Yet their hearts were dead. Which means that for your heart to be alive, it is not just having the outside form of Islam. You have to have the inside form of Islam for the heart to be alive. So Ibn Arabi is saying, understanding that those people who went to the masjid, they're praying 5 times a day, they're doing everything that Islam is commanding. But their hearts are dead. They're not taking anything from the words of the Imams, from the masjid, from the centers of spirituality. Then check ourselves. If that was like that time, how is it today? So one day he said to them, go to the masjid, listen carefully. If you do that, I'm going to give you a piece of gold. So everybody went to the masjid that time, saying, Sheikh is going to give us gold. After it was over, they came to him. He was standing outside in a square. They said, where is our gold? You promised us the gold. They said, did you go to the masjid? Yes. Did you worship to Allah? He says, yes. Then the Lord that you just worship, it is under my feet. They didn't understand him because people, their hearts are dead. They cannot understand. They're sealed. Simplest thing that some intelligence person can understand, because their intelligence is coming from faith. Their intelligence is saying, no, there is something, there's a meaning behind this. There's a meaning behind this. There's a meaning behind this. They don't, because their hearts are dead. They say, the Lord that we just worship, meaning we went to the masjid, we prayed to Allah, and they say, Allah is under my feet. They say, you are kafir. And they jump on him and they killed him. But what was he saying? You came to the masjid for gold. That is what you were worshipping. So that is the Lord you're worshipping, not Allah. And that Lord that you worship, it is under my feet. Meaning he's under me. He's meaning it in a symbolic way, and he's also meaning it in a way that is real. Because hundreds of years later, the Ottoman Sultan Selim, when he went, the prophecy is saying, Hazrat Ibn Arabi is saying, when sin enters into shin. So certain things are going to happen. So Selim, sin entering into Sham. Well, it's a long story. Anyway, he told his alims and he told the awliya Allah that were there, he's saying, this happened to me, this dream happened to me, this thing happened to me. Look for this spot where Hazrat Ibn Arabi said, the Lord that you worship is under my feet. Because they killed Hazrat Ibn Arabi, and he was one of the biggest friends of Allah. He was a sheikh for the sheikhs. They threw his body in a, in a trash area, dumping ground. They didn't even bury him, they threw him there. So the Sultan was saying, where is the place that he said, the Lord that you just worship is under my feet? They found out, they say, this is over here, it is said. It says, dig. They started digging, and they found right underneath where he said, the Lord, the gold that you worship is under my feet, he found 40 clay jars, like this big, filled with gold. Awliya Allah, they don't lie. When they say something, even when it is not there, Allah will make it to happen. And that gold, the Sultan took it to build some masjids, to do some things, and to say, now over there we have to build a dargah for him, the maqam for him. And that gold from that time until now, it's continuously feeding people, even up till today. People who come and they eat from the blessings of that gold. You understand? Now this is blessing. And so the believer, like what we said in the khutbah, the believer is the one who is always checking his belief. That is a believer. Because the believer is taking seriously that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, oh, believers, believe. Allah is saying in the Quran Karim, oh, believers, believe. He didn't say, oh, unbelievers, believe. He didn't say, oh, mankind, believe. He's saying, believers, believe. He's addressing to the few, meaning check your belief. If we already have belief, why Allah is going to say believe? Check your belief. Because belief is also not something that you can put a limit to it. It is endless. That belief is endless. There are oceans and oceans of belief. Because now the belief of someone who is worshipping Allah only to get a gold, that is a low belief. You cannot compare that to the belief of a friend of Allah. You cannot compare that to the belief of the prophets. You cannot compare that to the belief of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that he is the greatest believer. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything for his sake. So saying, oh believers, believe. So checking. Like Shaykh Effendi said years ago, he says everything in your life, you have a gauge. You have something that you show whether it's little or is a lot. You drive your car, there is a fuel gauge. You check whether you're an E or you're filled. You can check your battery. You can check everything to see whether there's enough there. You can check your gas. But where is that gauge for your belief? How are you going to check that? Because they don't teach these things anymore. They say, oh, you say shahadat by tongue, it's okay, you believe. No, who's saying that? Just because you say the shahadat, you can train a parrot to say the shahadat. The munafiqs, the hypocrites, they can say that. They can not say the shahadat, they can do everything that you're doing even better, more. But Allah is saying we're going to punish the hypocrites in the lower hell than the unbelievers. So now, we have to check that. How are you going to check? Where is that gauge? How are you going to check? How are you going to check your health? How are you checking your health? With a doctor. You may say, I check my health to see if I'm okay or I'm not okay. So many people, they're so healthy all their lives. They eat good, they do everything properly. They go to a doctor just for routine checkup. The doctor says, you have cancer. May Allah protect us and not test us. Correct or no? They think there's nothing wrong with them. Suddenly they say it's there. So you cannot go by your own head too, to see whether you're okay or not, whether your belief is there or not. There is a doctor for the physical, there's a doctor for the heart too. The prophets were there. And the prophets, they're not only sent to the unbelievers, they're sent to people who say we believe. Isa alayhi salam was sent to his nation. Did his nation not believe in Allah? No. Isa alayhi salam was sent to his nation, the one who is the closest to the Holy Prophet alayhi salam, the one that is closest to us too, the one who is going to come back soon, the one that we're waiting. Isa alayhi salam, he was not sent to his nation and they did not believe. They believe, but they did not believe according to the way that Allah wants them to believe. They're playing games with their belief. They are not making shirk, but they're being stubborn and arrogant and disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the prophets came also to make the believers, or those who claim that they're believers, to believe properly. To say, how are you going to believe properly? How? The prophets are saying, how are you going to believe properly? Prophet is saying, now, just do as you like. Or every prophet came to say, now you have to follow me. Because my Lord, your Lord and our Lord is saying, for you to get that belief, you have to follow. Every prophet, same message, follow me. There is one Lord, but you are not believing in that Lord properly. Every prophet came to say, there is no Lord, there is no Ilah, there is no God except for Allah. Same message. 124,000 prophets, same message. But there are those who don't believe in Allah, and there are those who believe, but they want to believe according to their own way. Because they have deviated means you're once upon a time, you were on the right way. It doesn't mean that you're completely without any guidance. You have some guidance, but you chose to deviate. So the prophets, they came also to warn. Those ones who say, no, we are believing. In fact, Isa alayhi salam, he came especially to warn those ones who says, no, my religion is perfect. My faith is perfect. I don't need you. Those high-level hahams, those rabbis that Isa alayhi salam is saying, look, believe properly. Leave your ego. Leave your stubbornness. Believe in Allah properly. And they ran to kill him. That he was so upset, and in their own books, Isa alayhi salam was cursing at them. Cursing at them. Very bitter words he was cursing at his own people. Those ones who are claiming we have the highest faith. He says, because whatever that you're believing, it is not the way that your Lord wants you to believe. You're only playing games with yourself. Stop that. Which is why Isa alayhi salam came to bring tariqat. He did not come to bring shariat, the laws. The laws are already there. Because the laws they are following, in fact, they follow more. That law is the law of Musa alayhi salam, the laws of Moses. It didn't change. Isa alayhi salam himself was following the shariat of Musa alayhi salam. But they have lost the understanding because they're not being sincere. So he came to bring Sufism, to bring Tasawwuf, to make them to be sincere, to make them to look. Sincerity means you're going to look again and again and again and again. You question yourself again and again. You ask yourself again and again. You don't just say, okay, I say it one time, it's okay. And because of that, they wanted to kill him. He came to take them to paradise, and they want to burn him. No. Second time he's going to come, they're going to do the same thing. They're also looking to the skies. They're also waiting for him to return. And they are going to run to burn him too. They have all these nuclear weapons and everything aiming there. So, nothing is going to touch him, of course. He's coming with the power of the heavenly power. On the backs of, he's holding on the shoulders of two angels. Don't think now physically like this. There are different reasons for that too. Different understanding. And he's going to come to finish. To finish who? To finish that one. That everyone, in Sahih Zaman, in reality they are worshipping. Who is that? Dajjal. Dajjal, the liar. The Antichrist. The one who's going to make confusion. Everyone is worshipping that because everyone wants to be confused. They say this confusion, it is better than clarity. We don't want truth and falsehood. We want everything to be gray. Everything is okay. No rules, no laws. May Allah make us from that very few who are going to be grateful to Him and who are going to be there to welcome Mahdi alayhi salam and Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. May Allah make us to become more sincere. May Allah make our belief to increase. May Allah give us more energy to fight against our shaitan, our ego, our desires. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and make us to become more grateful ones to Him, inshallah, for the sake of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, for the sake of our Shaykh Sahibul Saif Al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.